Imagine this. You're on a totally routine flight, maybe nodding off, and bam, the pilot's incapacitated.
Yeah, or you're just out for a walk minding your own business and suddenly you're face to face with something, ugh, toothy.
Exactly. Life throws these curveballs, right? And sometimes they're less, oops, spill my coffee, and more, major disaster incoming.
Mhm.
That's why today we're doing a deep dive into this really fascinating source, the new Worst-Case Scenario Survival Handbook.
It's a classic, updated.
Right. And our mission, for you listening, is basically to pull out those key bits of wisdom, those kind of surprising facts, to give you a shortcut.
A shortcut to being ready when things go sideways.
Yeah, informed for when things go sideways.
Yeah.
Because the book hammers this home.
Yeah.
The #1 rule, do not panic.
It sounds simple, but it's everything.
And we're going to show you some seriously practical, sometimes funny, but definitely accurate ways to actually use that principle.
It's true. The authors even mention their advice has apparently saved lives, so this isn't just, like, fun facts.
No, it's actionable stuff, real-world application. It's this weird mix of humor and actually critical info.
Yeah, ultimately about building that resilient mindset.
And that mindset, it really starts with do not panic.
Yeah.
It's so key. It's right there in the foreword by Mountain Mel Deweese. He's a Sierra instructor, survival, evasion, resistance, escape.
Serious credentials.
Totally.
Yeah.
And he shares these amazing stories about resourcefulness. Like, what's one of the really standout examples he gives about how staying calm helps you think creatively?
Well, one really striking one is about this Inuit guide Mel knew. The guide drank loads of extra tea one morning. Seemed kind of weird.
Okay, why?
Well, later on, it turns out he knew exactly where to set a fox trap based on, well, needing to relieve himself because of all the tea.
No way.
Yeah. And then, get this, he used bamboo tubes overnight near the trap spot and collected like 6 to 8 quarts of water just from condensation and maybe a bit of frost.
6 to 8 quarts. That's incredible from basically thinking ahead about tea.
Exactly, resourcefulness. And then there's another guy, Pepe, also in the foreword. It starts raining.
Mm-hmm.
He just grabs a bundle of grass, wraps around a smooth tree trunk, makes a little spigot, and boom, collects rainwater.
Wow. Just like that. It really shows it's not always about fancy gear, is it? It's about seeing what's around you.
Absolutely. Seeing possibilities where others just see, well, grass and trees.
Okay, so from that core mindset, the book just dives right into some pretty hairy situations,
Yeah.
high-stakes stuff.
No messing around.
Like what happens if you're up in the air and suddenly you're the one who has to fly the plane? The handbook actually tells you how.
It does. It breaks it down.
Mhm.
Yoke, basically the steering wheel.
Right. Pull back, nose goes up, push, nose goes down, turn it, the plane turns. Seems simple enough, maybe.
But here's the catch. The critical detail the book points out.
What's that?
It's very sensitive, super sensitive. You only move it like an inch or two. Tiny movements.
An inch or two. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, not like wrestling a bear then.
Definitely not. Subtle inputs. And it says for cruising, for someone average height, the nose should look like it's about 3 inches below the horizon line.
3 inches below. Okay, so precision is key. Delicate touch. That's totally counterintuitive for a panic situation.
Exactly, which goes back to rule number 1, don't panic.
Right. Okay, staying airborne. What about hyperventilating? Like from anxiety on a flight?
Right.
The book suggests the old paper bag trick, or, well, the air sickness bag.
Yeah, grab the bag, gather it at the top, put it to your mouth, slow breaths in and out, increases your CO2, calms you down.
But there's a big but, isn't there?
A very important one. The book strongly warns this could be dangerous if you're hyperventilating because of something else, like a heart attack or an asthma attack, not just anxiety.
Okay. So you need to be reasonably sure it's just nerves. Vital distinction.
Crucial. Always consider the underlying cause.
Okay, shifting gears slightly. Less life-threatening, maybe, but still an in-flight emergency for many. The tantrum-throwing child nearby.
Oh boy, we've all been there.
The book's first advice. Simple. Move. If it's happening during boarding, spot an empty seat, tell the flight attendant, and relocate pronto.
Yeah, as soon as that door closes, make your move. But the book's realistic too.
How so?
It admits you might end up swapping one problem for another. Middle seat, maybe? Behind someone who reclines instantly, near the loo? Next to Mr. Smelly Sandwich.
Yeah. The joys of air travel. It's a calculated risk then.
Pretty much. Prioritize escaping the noise if you can.
And if you can't move, noise-canceling headphones are best. Over-ear ones better than earbuds, it says.
Standard advice.
But then it has this totally unexpected kind of MacGyver tip for DIY earplugs. What do you think?
Okay, get this. Chew 2 to 4 pieces of gum until they're really soft.
Ah,
Then roll them into 2 little gumball-sized balls. Instant earplugs.
chewing gum earplugs, seriously. That's brilliant and slightly gross.
Isn't it? That's the kind of weirdly practical nugget this book is great at, and it adds a very important social tip.
Which is,
Do not offer parenting advice. It is rarely appreciated.
huh, solid gold advice right there. Okay, gum earplugs noted. Now, autonomous cars. What if your self-driving car decides to go rogue?
First things first, according to the handbook, seatbelt. Front or back, make sure it's on, always.
Step 1, basic safety. Got it. Then,
If you're in the front, lay on the horn. Repeatedly. Let everyone know something's wrong.
right, alerting others.
And if the windows aren't locked shut, yell. Warn pedestrians if you can. Basic awareness signals.
Okay, now for a really serious one. Plane hijacking. The book stresses pre-flight prep is vital here.
Yeah, like counting the rows to your nearest exit. And check if there's floor lighting, those little LED strips in case of smoke.
Good points. And the advice on when or if to try and act, it's pretty stark.
Very stark. The Thor says don't attempt escape unless it is crystal clear that a massacre is about to happen.
Wow, okay, so hold tight unless it's the absolute last resort. What about security like sky marshals?
Well, the book explains it varies a lot. More common on Israeli, Middle Eastern, Asian airlines. Fewer in Europe. And it says you can't really count on them being there on U.S. flights.
And if they are there,
They're always in an aisle seat, apparently. But again, don't assume.
what about the cockpit door? They're super reinforced now, right? Post 9/11.
They are fortified. But the book points out they can still be opened briefly, like for pilots using the lavatory or for cabin service.
Ah, potential vulnerability hijackers could exploit.
Potentially. But pilots are trained, the book says, not to open that door, no matter the threats outside.
Okay, and if a rescue happens, like SWAT bursts in,
Get down. Stay still. That's the advice. There could be gunfire. Afterwards, be ready to identify yourself and point out the terrorists if you can.
makes sense. And there's a fascinating pro tip about ammunition.
Yeah, sky marshals apparently use frangible bullets. They're designed to basically disintegrate on impact. Won't puncture the plane's skin.
Unlike regular bullets hijackers might have, which could cause decompression or, catastrophic damage.
Exactly. Huge difference. And the source also notes marshals might wait. They won't necessarily jump in immediately. They'll pick their moment for the best chance of success.
Okay, that's a critical detail.
Yeah.
Let's bring it down to earth now. Dangers closer to home. Animals. The book has some very direct advice, starting with alligators.
Big reptiles, big teeth.
And the #1 prevention rule, which seems obvious but people ignore.
Never feed alligators. Simple as that. The book links feeding directly to attacks. Makes them lose their fear, get aggressive.
Plus, it's illegal in places like Florida anyway.
Right. And also, be aware of mothers defending nests. They get very protective.
Good to know. Okay, snakes. Snake bite. What's the immediate first aid according to the handbook?
First, wash the bite. Soap and water. Then, immobilize the area, don't move it much. And keep it lower than your heart.
Why lower?
Helps slow down the venom moving through your system.
Gotcha. But it's always a medical emergency, right?
Always. The book is clear. Treat any snake bite as an emergency. Get to a doctor. It gives stats like 8,000 venomous bites a year in the U.S., maybe 9 to 15 deaths. So, serious stuff.
Okay. What about bandaging?
You can apply a tight bandage, maybe 2 to 4 inches above the bite, towards the heart. But make sure it's loose enough to slip a finger underneath. You're slowing venom, not cutting off circulation.
Right. And suction devices. I remember those from old kits.
The book mentions them, if you have one. But it's worth saying, current medical advice often leans against them now. Can sometimes cause more tissue damage. Getting professional help fast is the main thing.
Good clarification.
Yeah.
And the book adds a cool fact about snake strikes.
Yeah, apparently they coil up first, and they can strike about half their body length while the other half stays on the ground. Helps judge distance, maybe?
Useful visual.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, from slithering to swarming, killer bees, Africanized honeybees. What's the surprisingly simple advice?
Huh. Yeah, it's pretty blunt for such a scary thing, basically. Run.
Just run.
Run. And shield your head and neck. Those are the most vulnerable spots. Get away as fast as you can. Sometimes the simplest action is the best.
Run fast. Cover head.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay, let's talk about human encounters now. Crowds, protests. What's the advice for staying safe if you're at a peaceful protest?
Sensible stuff mostly. Comfortable shoes, dress in layers appropriate for the weather, hat, sunscreen or gloves, warm hat, Portable battery for your phone is a good idea too.
Right. But there's a specific warning in the source about clothing choice.
Ah, yeah. The book advises against dressing all in black.
Why is that?
Well, the source states, and I'm quoting its reasoning here, that you may be mistaken for an Antifa protester and singled out for abuse. So it's presented as a way to avoid drawing that kind of attention.
Okay, so that's the book's specific take on blending in based on that association. Good to know the reasoning presented.
Right. And if things turn non-peaceful,
Then what?
stick with muted colors, again, to avoid standing out. Make sure your shoes are tied tight. You might need to move fast.
Situational awareness.
Absolutely key. Scan the crowd constantly. Look for openings, exits. Plan your moves like 3 or 4 seconds ahead. Always know your escape route.
Okay. Now, what if you need to de-escalate things with one specific agitated person? The book has a really interesting first step. Something about emotional data fields.
Yeah, it sounds kind of technical, but it just means figuring out what they're feeling. Are they angry, scared, feeling disrespected, hostile, prideful?
Okay, so read the emotion. Then what?
Then reflect it back to them calmly, using you statements. Like, you seem really angry right now, or you feel like you're not being heard.
Not, I think you're angry, but you are angry.
Exactly. The book says avoid I statements and avoid questions because that can actually escalate things. You're just mirroring their feeling.
And you wait for...
You wait for a sign they feel understood, like a nod, or maybe they say exactly or yeah. That's the cue things might be calming down.
Ah, that's powerful. Validation, not argument.
Yeah.
Okay, shifting totally now. High seas. Pirate attack. How do you even spot them early, according to the book?
Keep your eyes peeled on the horizon. The book says any vessel within 20 miles that's the nautical horizon is too close for comfort.
20 miles. That's quite far out.
Yeah. And apparently pirates often shadow a target for days before they attack. Another big tip. Stay far from shore. Hundreds of miles if possible.
Why so far?
Well, the book explains that friendly navies often won't or can't enter the territorial waters of hostile nations to rescue you. Staying way out keeps you in international waters where help might be able to reach you.
Makes sense. And if you think an attack is coming?
Satellite phone is key. Contact the Maritime Security Center, Horn of Africa, MSCHOA. Give your position. Set up check-in calls, maybe every 6 hours. If you're within 300 miles, they might scramble a frigate or helicopter.
Wow, okay. And attack timing.
Usually dawn, the book notes. Apparently that's when they're most likely to be sober. And be aware of their tactics, like using a bigger fishing boat as a mothership to tow smaller, faster attack skiffs.
Good intel. Okay, let's move into big environmental or medical disasters. Tsunamis. We kind of know what they are, but what does the book add about their origin and scale?
It clarifies the name Japanese for harbor wave and explains they're usually triggered by big underwater events, earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, landslides, or even atmospheric stuff, meteor tsunamis.
And how big are we talking?
Huge! They can start thousands of miles away, and the waves themselves can be anywhere from like 50 to 100 feet high when they hit the coast. Just immense power.
Yeah, truly terrifying scale. Okay, next up, a major viral outbreak, super flu pandemic scenario. If you are not infected, what are the core prevention rules from the handbook?
Get the flu shot, first off. Even if it's not a perfect match, it helps. Then, avoid people. Stay inside if you can. Infected people can spread it before they even show symptoms.
And the big one.
Do not touch anything.
Yep.
Seriously. The book emphasizes hand contact is the main way most viruses spread. Flu virus can live on surfaces for hours.
So gloves if you have to go out?
Yep. Disposable ones, ideally. Or wash reusable ones in hot water. Surgical masks help a bit with airborne droplets, but again, hands are the main issue.
What else?
Limit where you go. Avoid places kids gather, schools, daycares. Avoid recirculated air, like in some buildings or transport. Basic hygiene. Cough into your elbow. Don't share towels. Disinfect doorknobs, light switches, phones, all that common stuff.
Okay, and if you do get sick?
Isolate yourself. Stay home until you're fever-free for at least 24 hours without taking fever-reducing meds. And know the symptoms. Fever, cough, sore throat, congestion, aches, headache, chills, fatigue, sometimes vomiting or diarrhea, too.
Got it. All right, shifting to heat exhaustion. What are the signs to watch for?
The book lists things like sweating buckets, feeling really tired or dizzy, maybe confused, muscle cramps, really dark pee, heart beating faster than usual.
And if you feel that coming on, what do you do?
Stop whatever you're doing. Get in the shade. Sit down. Loosen any tight clothes. Cool down. The book says full immersion in cool water is fastest if possible.
Like jumping in a lake or pool?
Exactly. If not, use wet cloths, soak your clothes, fan yourself. Evaporation cools you down. And rehydrate. but slowly. Small sips of water, maybe eat a banana or have a sports drink to replace minerals.
Good practical steps. Okay, here's a specific, pretty gnarly one. Sucking chest wound, where air is getting pulled into the chest cavity through a wound. How do you seal that, according to the book?
You need something airtight. Plastic wrap, a plastic bag, even some types of fabric might work. Tape it down securely on 3 sides.
Only 3 sides. Why leave one open?
For drainage, air and fluid need a way to get out but not suck back in. If the person's breathing gets worse, you might need to lift the dressing briefly to let trapped air escape.
Ah, like a one-way valve. And there's a tip for transport.
Yeah, a good pro tip. Roll the victim onto their injured side if you have to move them. Helps drainage from that side and lets the uninjured lung expand more easily.
Clever. Okay, now imagine you're lost in the desert. Signaling is everything. What's the advice on fires?
Smoky fires during the day make lots of smoke so they can be seen from far away. Old tires work well if you happen to find one, apparently. Bright, flaming fires at night.
What if fuel is scarce?
Keep a small fire going with kindling, ready to build up quickly if you hear or see a plane. And here's another wild tip.
Go on.
Stuff a roll of toilet paper into a tin can, pour gasoline on it, cover it loosely. The toilet paper acts like a wick, slows evaporation, makes the gas last way longer.
Toilet paper and gasoline.
Yeah. And it mentions the Benghazi burner, basically a can with sand and gasoline, same idea, long burn time, used by British soldiers in WWII for tea and signaling.
Amazing. And other signals besides fire.
Make a big triangle in a clearing. Use rocks, branches, reflective stuff if you have it. Triangle is the international distress symbol, and eye-shape means injured.
Good to know. Essential gear besides signaling tools.
Food-wise, the book recommends carbs, bagels, trail mix, granola bars. Why? Because digesting protein uses up more of your precious water.
Ah, smart resource management. Okay, Avalanche, this sounds incredibly time-specific.
Extremely. The book gives a stark statistic. Survival chances drop below 50% if someone's buried for more than 30 minutes. Speed is absolutely critical.
So how do you search?
Look for anything on the surface, first bit of clothing, equipment, a ski pole. Use an avalanche beacon if you have one, switch to search mode, sweep in a zigzag pattern.
And what's used as a signal?
Use an avalanche probe, that long, thin pole, to physically poke down and feel for the person under the snow. Then, dig like mad with a collapsible shovel.
Intense. Okay, last one in this section. Scuba diving, and you run out of air. Rule number 1 of diving.
Never dive alone.
And if your tank does run dry, what's safer than just bolting for the surface?
Sharing your buddy's air. Use their alternate regulator, their octopus. The book stresses this is much, much safer than an emergency ascent, especially if you're deep. You need that slow, controlled descent to avoid the bends.
So only swim up directly if you're really shallow.
Yeah, the book says basically under 30 feet. Otherwise, buddy breathing is the way, which means always stay close enough to your dive partner to signal and swim to them and keep a constant eye on your air gauge.
Makes total sense. Okay, let's wrap this incredible deep dive up with a broader principle. Identifying hidden dangers, like, say, a bomb. What's the core mantra used by search teams?
It's about noticing anomalies. Look for the presence of the unusual or the absence of the usual, something that seems out of place or something missing that should be there.
And the number 1 piece of advice from bomb experts?
Avoidance. The book is very clear. Don't touch it. Don't try to be a hero. Your best chance is letting the bomb squad handle it. Get away, report it.
Okay, wow. We have covered a ton of ground here. Landing planes, gum earplugs, alligator etiquette, de-escalation tactics, pirate spotting, tsunami facts.
It's a whirlwind of worst-case scenarios.
Totally. And obviously, the goal isn't for you to memorize every single detail right now. It's more about cultivating that mindset, right? Preparedness, resourcefulness.
Exactly. It all comes back to that first rule from Mountain Mel in the foreword. The absolute first key. Do not panic.
Because when you're calm, you can think. You can access this kind of information. You can improvise, like Pepe with his grass spigot.
That clear head unlocks everything else.
So here's the final thought to leave you with. How might knowing some of this stuff, even just the surprising bits, change how you look at things, how you travel, how you observe your surroundings, maybe even how you handle a tense conversation?
Yeah, think about it. Being prepared isn't really about living in fear. It's about feeling more empowered, isn't it? Knowing you've got some tools, some knowledge, for whatever weird curveballs life decides to throw your way.